Hey everyone, welcome to this weekend Sidereal Astrology forecast. So this weekend we've got nothing major going on astrologically. We've got the moon in Libra on Friday in the first half, well mostly Saturday. And so probably feeling a bit like we want some harmony in our life, maybe some balance, maybe doing this sort of check of our life and seeing what areas might be out of balance. And we may feel like we want to bring some balance back to those areas. Often Libra is about relationships too. So in terms of how we're interacting, maybe wanting a bit of harmony and cooperation in relationships as well. So that's going to be the theme mostly on Friday. And we are still on Friday finishing up a bit of that really good, motivating sort of mental energy with that Mercury sextiling Mars, which we'll talk about. But as we get into the second half of Saturday and into Sunday, into Scorpio, all right, we are going to have the moon in Scorpio. This is going to be usually quite deep with the emotional body. Of course, it depends on our personal charts, and I think it's always good to go deep with it to see what comes up. And that's essentially what Scorpio does. It helps us go beyond the depth of things. And this is in our own personal lives and in interpersonal relationships, and maybe externally too, like through research and psychology and learning more about, the hidden dimensions of life. So good for healing and transformation, which we'll talk about with that. Other than that, lunar aspects. So let's go ahead and look at this in more detail. All right, so there it is, the moon in Libra on Friday, and then on Saturday pretty much as well. And then shifting into Scorpio there on Sunday. So Friday, definitely a day of coming out of what was, I think, more of a reserved kind of grounded energy with Virgo, probably wanting things to be structured and organized and a bit of that analytical energy. Definitely going into a more airy sort of area of the chart, which has more to do with finding harmony and balance. And so again, that can be in your personal life. I think it's a great time when the moon's in Libra to just kind of see, if there's any areas you can put more energy into that might be imbalanced or out of balance, or maybe there's too much energy in a particular area and then kind of putting it into something else. But we're just wanting a bit of that. Libra's the scales, and we want to have that balance. And I think in our personal life and internally, that's where it really starts. And then externally, of course, through cooperation with relationships and interactions, wanting, to be concerned with maybe things like justice and morality, doing the right thing. That type of stuff usually goes well with Libra. So definitely wanting that harmony there. Then on Friday, we do also have that Mercury sextiling to Mars finishing up. So along with that, probably a bit of this still intentful, mental energy like I was talking about yesterday. Really good for research, really good for anything that involves reading or writing, practical stuff, communication stuff. We can be still quite direct with our communications on Friday, I feel like. And although that's waning, I think it is still quite strong. The moon is going to be squaring up to Mercury. So on this note, because there's a bit of clash with that, maybe just bringing extra attention to the communication. Maybe there's just a bit of blockage. Or maybe, because the moon represents the feelings and Mercury represents the mind, that there might just be a bit of a clash with the emotional and mental and just requiring a bit of integration there. So I think that's good. And then also, too, as a reminder that Mercury is in Capricorn. So our minds are actually quite grounded at the moment. We're still seeing, the big picture. We're able to concentrate and, focus on things in a way that is involving a bit of reserve and a bit of patience and persistence and things like that. So again, I think implementing that grounded quality of our minds, that patient quality of our minds on Friday, I think can be a great way of integrating that square. A minor sextile up to Pluto with the moon too could make it that it's a good day for intimacy, openness, vulnerability, and maybe just making some changes that we might feel like is necessary. So that's Friday. Definitely Libra, I would say, is the strongest thing, along with that sextile up to Mercury and Mars, still direct with the communication, and with Libra probably wanting a bit of that harmony and balance. Then as we go into Saturday, we are going to have that sort of shift into Scorpio. And the important thing about Saturday is that's when we officially enter into the third quarter phase. And so this is where the sun and moon sort of square up to each other. All right. And so about a week ago, in fact, almost exactly a week ago from Friday, we had that lunar eclipse, right? And so that was an illuminating time. We maybe gained some insight last week, towards the end of last week, about where we want to put some energy in our life, or we're just doing that status check. And so this weekend, definitely a good weekend for integrating some of those insights. That's essentially what the third quarter phase is about. It's about taking the insights from the full moon, in this case from the lunar eclipse, and start to sort of implement them. So if there's anything you can do this weekend to challenge yourself, to take some actions with, or to be intentful with, and again, maybe it's not action in terms of being active, maybe it's action to meditate, or to do more receptive things, or maybe creative things, or hobbies, interests, or whatever it is, but something about being intentful with it, I think, can be great. Maybe taking whatever actions might be uncomfortable or might be slow to start, but can certainly build the momentum as we go through the rest of next week. So that's going to be the strongest energy on Saturday, is integrating essentially the insights from last weekend, and all weekend really just sort of being intentful and taking action, maybe challenging ourselves with taking some of those actions there. All right, so that's Saturday. Then as we shift into the evening of Saturday, the moon going into Scorpio, and this will be the energy on Sunday as well, is usually the emotional body not comfortable in Scorpio. The moon, our feelings, we like a bit of privacy and protection and nurturing and caring and all this. But when the moon goes into Scorpio, it really unveils and brings up a lot of the deep-seated emotional patterns, basically. So it's good to do that during this time, is to go within and to see if there are any patterns, if there is any healing we can do, any transformation we can do, any patterns we can break, any fears we can face. All of this psychological, spiritual, emotional stuff is excellent when the moon is in Scorpio. And if it is on an interpersonal level, maybe it's probably wanting a bit of that intimacy and depth in relationships, and honesty and trust and all of this stuff, which really does come to the forefront. So being aware of that, and I think just working on how we can essentially be more vulnerable with life, be more vulnerable with ourselves, such as through that transformation I was talking about, and then also too, vulnerable in relationships is excellent as well. All right, so that's Sunday. And then in terms of the lunar aspects on Sunday, we do have some support with relationships probably, or just feeling a bit harmonious there with the moon trining up to Venus. Maybe good for enjoying the simple life, the values, the finances, something like that. Maybe supportive, enjoying things. But if there is a bit of uncertainty, the moon will be squaring up to Neptune. Or if you feel like there's some things that you might want to do to relax or take it easy, kick up your feet, but might require a bit of intention to do so, I think it's a good Sunday to sort of challenge yourself with where maybe you can detach, let go, and if possible, maybe get a bit of that R&R. All right, so that is the weekend in a nutshell. Definitely lunar aspects, nothing major going on. Friday still finishing up with that sextile with Mercury and Mars. Again, intentful with the mind, maybe motivated with some ideas, really good for using that practical mind, communication, that type of stuff, with some extra attention there with the square up to Mercury, and good for depth and intimacy, I think, with a sextile up to Pluto. Then on Saturday, that's when we officially enter into the third quarter phase. So I think it'll be a good day, but all weekend long, really, to challenge ourselves, maybe with those insights from last week, whatever you gain there, and some intentions you can take can really be excellent. Then as we go into late Saturday and into Sunday, Scorpio, going into the deeper side of things, vulnerability, openness, all of this can be excellent. And through the process, feeling healed and transformed as the moon makes her way through Scorpio and Ophiuchus there. All right, so that is the weekend in a nutshell. I just want to recap real quick that the sun still is in Aquarius, so it still is an excellent time to be expressing ourselves in unique, different ways, really access that eccentricity that is all of us uniquely, individually, and maybe even accessing our progressive side as well. And as a reminder too, it is an intuitive time. We've got Venus and Mars in Pisces. It's supposed to be watery. It's supposed to be intuitive. The way we're getting things done especially, and the way we're connecting with the things we enjoy and our relationships in life. All right, so hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on Monday.